Hello, this is Randall Beatley from Outlaw Sports Network. Here to remind you that we are looking for any female commentators to go on any video. This is our official advertisement. If you want to be on any video, no matter if it's WWE, NFL, NBA, NHL, whatever, if you are a female and you are interested, hit us up on Twitter, Outlaw Sport Network. Or on Facebook, Outlaw Sports Network on Facebook. Or you can email concordoutlaws@gmail.com. Or you can hit me up personally, randallbeatley@gmail.com. Again, if you want to be on the OSN Network, the Outlaw Sports Network, let us know. Send us an email. Hit us up on Facebook. And we will work with your schedule to get you on a show. And now, to your feature presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new edition of MarkOutMania. Tonight, I am joined, special guest on the show this week. We got the phenomenal show off, aka Randall Beatley. How's it going? Thanks, Randall, for joining us here tonight on this new and fresh and exciting episode of MarkOutMania. We got a few things we're going to go over with some No Mercy predictions and a new addition to a WWE live event that's going to be happening in November. I'm excited for it, so you guys should be too. Kind of quick update, guys. Check out our new Facebook page. We're no longer the Concord Outlaws Wrestling. It's now Outlaws Sports Network. You can follow us on Facebook at that same name. On Twitter, it's Outlaw Sports Net. And so definitely give us a follow on there, like us, tweet us out, give some love to the page. Check us out here on YouTube as well, Outlaw Sports Network, where you can look up some of the live streams we've done with Google Hangouts and some of these other podcasts and such. And then also check out the page as we do some question and answers. And then we also kind of like to do some interactive stuff with you guys, the audience. It's the most important thing we do each and every time. Get some feedback. Also check out some of the other of the Outlaws broadcasters as well. Jacob Brock, Jake the Snake has got some stuff out there. Will the Thrill's been doing a lot of stuff on the Facebook page. Randall and I have been doing a little bit more of the live stream stuff and Twitter stuff, things of that nature. And also check out James's, the Phenomenal C Nation. Check out his stuff as well. Some good stuff coming up here, guys. Want to get you guys a little bit up to date on the delayed production, the delayed product, if you will. It has been a crazy month for myself personally. Been going through a little bit of a change recently. Ladies, I'm a single man, so if you want to give me some loving, I appreciate that. I would give you the phone number, but it's over the web. You can't take anything back, so I'm not going to do that. Follow me on Facebook, Cody Martinaro. Follow me on Twitter at PhenomenalKDog. Just love me. That's all I ask. Yeah, it's been a crazy month with some personal stuff. Yeah, iffy. It is what it is. Spent 6 years with a girl, and the relationship ended. So on and off, kind of bit. But on to bigger and better things, and on to new exciting things in the world. And no bashing here from me to her. And I hope everybody's just able to live their life with peace, happiness, and love. So that's all I got to say about that. A couple things I want to hit off before we get to our two main topics tonight. First of all, from here, for myself, for Randall, and for the rest of the Outlaws, our thoughts, prayers go out to the people that are affected by Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Jose is devastating the Caribbean right now, and for what's happening in the earthquakes over in Mexico, as well as the aftermath of Harvey over in Texas. Definitely want to give our positive vibes, thoughts, and prayers, as should all of you, to those that were affected by these natural disasters. Definitely some tough times going on for them for sure. We may have some stuff going on in our personal lives, but what those families are going through down there, nothing compared to what we're going through, pretty much, maybe. But just had to mention that for sure. Bobby Heenan. Rain the Weasel passed away this past week at the age of 73, I believe. was surrounded by his family during the time of his death, but still a very sad day in wrestling as the Brain is no longer with us, but is definitely calling some matches up in heaven with Gorilla Monsoon, having a great time, and I'm sure God is loving that commentary team right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely give lots of praise to the Heenan family. They did a really cool stuff on Monday Night Raw, paying tribute to him, possibly the greatest wrestling manager of all time, one of the best wrestling figures in general of all time. So we'll miss you, Bobby Heenan, and Godspeed, just like Michael Cole said on Monday. And lead me to the last little bit we got before we get into the main stuff, and I promise we'll get all this in like very emotional, weird start to the show. I know that's something that we don't do very often, but now and then, you just gotta get that stuff out the way, so that way we can get everybody up to speed and get everything going. Ric Flair starting to make a full recovery. It's really, really good news to see. Charlotte was back on TV this week on SmackDown Live, and she was in a Fatal 4-Way match, was it?
Yep.
Fatal 4-Way match on SmackDown. Picked up the win, became the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Is that match happening next week, or is it going to be happening at Hell in a Cell?
Hell in a Cell.
Cool. That's fine. I want to make sure. So cool to see Charlotte back on TV. Good to see the Nature Boy still kicking out at 2. And giving chicks rides to Space Mountain every time. So coolio and kudos to Rick. And they just had a book that came out, Second Nature, that's now on sale at book stands everywhere. I'm not getting paid to say any of this stuff, so I don't know really why I'm saying this besides I heard the book is really good, and some of the wrestling figures out there have already picked up the book and said it's really good. I'm going to pick up a copy myself here in a couple days. Haven't picked up a WWE book in a while, but I have read some really good ones. I really would like to get a couple other ones to kind of catch up on that stuff. I just love reading about the superstars' past and their adventures and stuff like that. Edge's book, Adam Copeland on Edge, that was written like 10 years ago or something. That was a really good book. And a couple others. So Second Nature's out now at bookstores everywhere, and I guess on the app stores. So definitely take a read on those things for sure. All right, guys. So getting on to the sappy and emotional and crazy stuff out of the way. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's get down to the good stuff. So this Sunday, No Mercy live on the WWE Network, 8 o'clock from Los Angeles, California. Raw exclusive pay-per-view. Coming off the heels of SummerSlam, I didn't know what was going on with the two brands Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if we're going to go back to the 2 pay-per-views a month. But it seems like as of right now, we're going to do what we did back in the old Ruthless Aggression era, doing 1 pay-per-view every other month, which is cool by me. Gives the writers a chance to finally, do something different and have to force them to write some really good TV, sometimes up to 6 weeks in advance for a pay-per-view. Build up some good storylines to make it not feel rushed. So this should be a really cool and really interesting point in the brand extension. Like I said, it's a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. We're going to go down match by match and just give our thoughts and predictions on what we think will happen. I personally, I'm kind of looking forward to this pay-per-view. The Raws have been iffy every now and then. There's a couple good Raws. There's really a few good segments of Raw, and then there's just overall not that exciting of Raws in the past weeks. But for a go-home show last week, I thought it was okay. Well, it could have been much worse, but it wasn't that bad. So I think it's got some decent hype going into this Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. The Raw, I just feel it's the stories are repetitive, which doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to. I'm looking forward to how some of the matches will end. But I feel week after week we're just getting the same old product. So I think there's area for growth, development within the booking process. But other than that, I'm definitely looking forward to it. We got some good matches when you look at them on paper. So I think the athletes are going to be able to perform well, and it should be a pretty decent show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you on the repetitiveness of it. It just seems like sometimes it's the same stuff every week, or it's just doesn't feel original or new, which is tough to do. But some of the matches is like, okay, I mean, there's some hype to it, but I mean, what's going to happen here? So let's get down to it. We'll go ahead and start with the Cruiserweight Championship. That's going to be defended on the line. King of the Cruiserweights, Neville, against a guy who somehow gets a push because he broke up with his tag team partner, and everybody else hates him in the locker room, Enzo Amore. If Enzo wins this match, I don't know how much crack the creative team has smoked or snorted to do this to Neville. The Tozawa thing that happened last month, it could have been better. I thought it would have been cool to see Tozawa have a little bit longer title run. Their feud would have been really cool. I thought Tozawa really was one of the only people that could beat Neville, and probably still is one of the last few people to beat Neville. They let him have the title for a week, and then he lost it, and now Tozawa is just there. So yeah, I'm going with Neville. Hope Neville wins. Neville doesn't win, you have a problem.
While I think Neville is the better champion, I mean, and the better in-ring, better overall, in terms of what it takes to be a WWE superstar. There's just a part of me that's like, hey, we're gonna have Enzo, because that will be great. I don't know. I just feel they had Enzo there, didn't know what to do with him, and I guess giving him a title is a legitimate reason to keep him on the roster. But while I want Neville to win, I really have a strong feeling Enzo's going to somehow pull off a win, which would be interesting. It's if he does win, I would like to see. I'm not going to completely write him off. I want to see how he can handle it. My heart says he can't actually. He doesn't have what it takes to be a champion. He's just a mouthpiece, and I would like to see him basically just be a manager and stay out of the ring, because that's all I think Enzo is good for anyway.
You ain't kidding. How you doing? Smack talker Skywalker. He's going to get his ass kicked in the ring. That's what I'm hoping for. So, who you got for this? You got Neville or Enzo?
Enzo.
Oh boy. I don't like the way this went out. Whatever. We'll move on now to a feud that I thought was over and it's not, and there's literally no meaning to this feud besides these two just having a match on the pay-per-view. And I hate the fact that this guy is still in the mid-card. He deserves to be pushed to the moon. Hasn't happened. I don't know why. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. I don't really know. I don't really know what the point of this feud is besides Demon versus Eater of Worlds, and we had that at SummerSlam, and now Finn's not using his alter ego for whatever reason. Bray is a really good character. He's not really going anywhere. Finn was supposed to go somewhere, and I don't know if creative just doesn't have enough faith in him or trust in him, or if they're fearful he'll get injured again. But it sucks that he's not at least getting an Intercontinental title shot of something, give the man something to fight for. I got Bray winning this match only because Finn got his win at SummerSlam, and I don't know if this feud will go on into Survivor Series. I hope not, but for some reason I just see Bray Wyatt winning this match.
I agree. I think Bray wins. And I think Bray wins by interference by the one and only Dustin Rhodes. So far, he sort of said, "Oh, I'm against Bray. But there's a part of me that really sees him turning on Finn Balor, helping Bray win. I don't want to take the next step and say he joins the Wyatts because that would be pointless. But I think he gets involved some way in the match to help Bray Wyatt pick up the victory, which if I'm right, might be Bray Wyatt's first pay-per-view win in forever. So
yeah, for sure. I still think I think it'd be a good match, but at the same time, like I said, these two really aren't feuding over anything, so it's almost just here, go out and have fun type of match. Next match we'll talk about, Intercontinental title match. Jason Jordan versus The Miz. The Miz, obviously the Intercontinental Champion, defending the title at No Mercy. The moon push for Jason Jordan is finally culminating now. And this is what kind of I don't like, excuse me, is that there really isn't a feud with this IC title scene. Jeff Hardy won a number one contendership, had his chance, lost it. There was another multi-man opportunity match for the IC title number one contendership. Jason Jordan won in that, and now Miz is defending it against Jason Jordan. I feel like the creative just doesn't know what to do. And Miz is, had a little run in with Enzo. He had a little run in with Jordan, Jeff Hardy. I don't really know what to make of it. I don't think Jason Jordan will win. I think it's a little too early to be putting the title on him. Creative has surprised me and may give him a title push. They did it with Jinder Mahal, so that means anybody could. James Ellsworth could possibly be WWE champion. By the way, Creative has booked this stuff this year. Just you watch. The day that happens. Oh my. Yeah, so I'm going with The Miz on this one. I just don't think it's that. I don't think he's ready for it. I do think this will be a very underrated match, though. I think this will be a pretty good match on the card, though.
I'll say Miz wins, and I say that only because I'm looking at the bigger picture of how I would book the whole storyline. And I think they'll continue to have Jordan lose these big pay-per-view type matches to where he gets upset, says, "I'm tired of being under, only being here because of you, Kurt Angle. I'm done with you. I'm going to basically turn heel on Kurt Angle." And then hopefully Kurt Angle actually takes a physical here soon to actually wrestle again and pass that. And I think if we get one more match with Angle, it could possibly be Kurt Angle versus Jason Jordan sometime in the next 6 months, if they plan it out right. And so yeah, I have Miz winning this. I don't really see any creative direction with the IC title. So to me, Miz is good with it until we can find someone who's better. on Raw to hold it than say just keep it on Miz.
Yeah, definitely. I think that'd be a really cool feud down the road to see Jason Jordan against his father, Kurt Angle. Either way, I just want to see Kurt wrestle at least in a couple more matches. So that'd be pretty cool. So on now to the Tag Team Championship match. Got the champions, Shield 2/3, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins against The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. With this feud going on for another month or so. Has been bad. It's been, I mean, there's not the tag team division on Raw. It's very bleak, very weak too. So it's really all they got besides the Hardy Boys, and they've been flip-flopping around between tag team matches and number one contendership stuff. So really ain't got much going on right now, and Gallows and Anderson really aren't doing anything. This would be a pretty decent match. These four guys are really good in the ring, really competitive, really physical, really good sellers. So, I mean, I expect a really good match out of these four. I do think that Ambrose and Rollins retain the titles here. They could draw this feud out until Survivor Series, but it could be one of those traditional Survivor Series tag team matches where it could be the Hardys and Rollins and Rollins and Ambrose, against Gallows and Anderson and Sheamus and Cesaro. I hope that doesn't happen, but you never know. But I do see Rollins and Ambrose retaining the titles here.
On that, I will again agree with you. It's like the first time forever we actually agree on like everything.
So far, there's one match we haven't agreed on. So there's that one.
But I have them winning for not really a storyline reason, but a sort of behind-the-scenes reason. Sheamus is still filming for his movie, so they're not going to have him on TV all the time. I actually think this is a way for them to sort of write him off, have him lose this match. And I don't know if they'll still be on Raw if he'll not film on Monday nights, but from what I can remember, he's in like a TV show and the movie or something that they're filming for USA. So that's the only reason. If he wasn't in that, I'd say they'd probably still be champions. Honestly, I feel this like spot was supposed to be the Revivals, but they don't know how to stay healthy apparently anymore. So I'm really hoping like they can make a comeback here soon, because the repetitiveness of the tag team division right now, not just on this brand but on SmackDown as well, is kind of getting kind of boring. So
True. And on that note, we will move on up to the Women's Championship, a fatal 5-way match that just seemed like every other week they were adding people into this match. Going to be a very interesting match. Now Alexa Bliss defending her title against Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, Emma, and Bayley. Bayley just got thrown in there for no reason. Really?
wasn't really no reason. It was more of hey, I haven't had my rematch yet. Can I just be put into this?
Yeah, and I feel bad for Dana Brooke. I know that she's been going through, what happened with her ex-boyfriend, but she's been working the live events, so why isn't she in this matchup? Might as well just put all the divas on, the women on Raw. It's just a very, very clustered situation. I only want to see Alexa or Emma win this match. If I have to choose one, I would go with Emma. I love Alexa. I really do. I think she's a great champion. Emma, it's been long overdue for her. She's been in that company. That's the longest tenured women's wrestler, I believe, in that 5-way match.
Yeah.
And
I thought you were about to say on Raw, and I was like, you forgot one, Alicia Fox, but
true. So, and Emma just really hasn't been given much of a chance at anything.
I mean, if she stopped doing drugs, maybe.
Listen. Okay. Listen, when you're not getting pushed, you have to do drugs to fill in that need. Okay, listen. Sasha's had the title too much. Bailey just doesn't deserve to be the match to begin with, so I don't know why you'd give the title to her. Nia Jax, I feel like her time will be maybe WrestleMania season. That's when maybe we'll see her get her title run. Maybe even earlier than that. I do see it happening for her. I just don't think just quite yet. And Lissy's had the title. She's been a great women's champion both on the Raw brand and the Blue brand on SmackDown Live. I just think that we need to give somebody else a chance here. And Emma's the perfect person. Hashtag give Emma a chance. Hashtag give Emma the title.
All right, so I guess I'll go competitor by competitor here until. So first off, Nia, just no. Just please no.
Just no.
I think she's getting better. She's not there yet. I think she needs a mouthpiece like Tamina has on SmackDown for her to. I would really, really like her to have like Paul Heyman as her spokesperson.
First of all, Henry, I hate to cut you off, and I promise you I'll let you get back to that. Speaking of Tamina, I said this in our group chat, a couple days ago. If Tamina's going to have that jungle theme song, that's something out of Tarzan, I realize her father was Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and you got to change up the scene a little bit here. But, chick, if you're going to have that kind of entrance, you might as well come out with the overall tight things that, like, Andre and the Big Show used to wear, and, like, taped up feet, and, like, some kind of...
WWE has a rule you can only wear shoes now because Rusev broke his foot. So, you can't...
Or sandals. I don't know. Make you look like a jungle woman. Do something. If you don't have that kind of theme song.
So Tarzan.
Tarzan, Jane, whoever, whatever you want. Pocahontas, I don't care. She's not even a jungle woman. But anyways, cave woman type thing. Come on now. Give me something creative here. I don't think her badass looking gimmick with a ridiculous theme song makes sense, but that's just me. Continue.
Anyway, Nia's time is definitely not now. Bailey, no. She, her pop in her hometown was really, really disappointing. Apparently the crowds at both shows this weekend were really underwhelming. Well, when you look at it, it's an 8 o'clock start time Eastern Standard, which means it's 5 o'clock there. People are just getting off work, so it's out west is one of the tougher places to do live shows for WWE.
Aaron Rift, who does NoDQ.com stuff, he lives on the West Coast. He used to live in California. I think he lives in Oregon now. He said, that's no excuse. I've been to plenty of shows where there's been bigger crowds. I'm not saying that you're wrong. That would be my first thing, and I would agree with that. That's just his little thing, and whatever. But that'd be my biggest thing is that it's a different era than it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. That's not the biggest excuse. The biggest excuse is creative that sucks and can't put a product that'll draw people to pay $200 to sit in nosebleeds. But,
True that.
Bailey just, I don't think has any directions really just in this match to say, hey, here's your rematch. That's basically it. Sasha, I don't think will ever truly be seen by creative or booking as a legit title force. Because of her injury history, they don't want to take a chance on her. So I think she'll have more title runs, but they'll be like 3 weeks at most which will probably be her longest ever. But which leaves Emma and Alexa. I want Emma to win, sort of for the same reason you did. I think it's time. I think WWE really wasted those 6 months when she was cleared, but they just did vignettes for 6 months and then debuted her as Emelina, which was a 1 week thing. And it was like, oh, psych, we're still gonna do Emma, and that was just a big cluster of nonsense. But ultimately, the bigger picture, as I always look at, is Alexa Bliss will win, which will lead to, hey, I beat every relevant woman on the roster. No one can beat me. Enter Asuka. Which we've already been giving away the spoiler that they shouldn't have given away, that Asuka is on Raw, and I believe she will be the next women's champion on Raw whenever she debuts. So I think Alexa retains till then.
Do you think, in your preview prediction, Asuka debuts at No Mercy?
No. I don't even... What's the next Raw pay-per-view? Is it Survivor Series?
I mean, that would be, a co-brand thing, but Survivor Series would be the next pay-per-view.
The next one.
Raw Superstars would be on.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I think she debuts either the day after No Mercy, the Raw after, or sometime before Survivor Series. I think she wins the title at Survivor Series.
That quick?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay.
Okay. That, or she debuts at Survivor Series. I don't know how long she has left recovery from her collarbone or whatever she broke. But, I mean, it's not a long recovery time. It's more of making sure it's strong enough to actually perform.
Right.
Last thing I heard about her is that recovery's doing fine. She's training again. So, we shall see.
Absolutely. That'll be interesting to see when the Empress comes up onto the main roster and see what happens.
But to add, that could also be a storyline for anyone who wins the title. So, any of the 5 could win and say the same thing. Hey, I beat everybody. And then Asuka can enter. So, I mean, really, anyone can win. I just think it would be easier to say, hey, let's just have Alexa remain champion. So,
makes sense. I agree with you on that. I think that just about anybody that wins a match could use that as a catalyst for debuting Asuka either way. So, that's a pretty good point there. We'll move on. We're going to switch up the last 2 here because we will preview and predict the main event of the night, I believe, for the Universal Championship, Brock Lesnar versus the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, in what more than likely will be a very physical matchup. I think this match will be a little bit longer than what Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar went at, Great Balls of Fire?
yeah.
Because it was a Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam, right? Yeah, what's
Yeah.
up with the Fatal 4-Ways and Fatal 5-Ways? But I think it'll be a lot longer match than that. I think that was like a 4 or 5, 6 minute match between Joe and Lesnar. I think this one will have a lot more physicality to it, and with reports of WWE maybe going back to an edgier product, I don't think that'll happen Sunday. Maybe it does, but you're on the network anyway, so you can do whatever you want to do. I wouldn't expect to see a blood spot here. Whether or not somebody juices somebody, or juices themselves, or Lesnar somehow runs into the ring post wrong again and busts himself open. Either way, I think this will be it's gonna be a physical match. I think it'll be a fun match. I think it'll be really cool. I can't wait to see what Braun does on the main stage in the main event on his own for a title match. It would be pretty cool to see him win the belt. Not sure if he's ready for it yet, but he's definitely getting there. However, I do expect the Beast to remain Universal Champion?
Yeah, this is probably. First off, it's they're promoting it as a double main event, which makes no sense. But I think those are the only two matches that are really selling tickets at this time. Like, none of the other matches really. I mean, you could get them on TV now, considering how they're giving away pay-per-view worthy matches on TV now. But anyway, I think it will be physical. I think Brock wins. I mean, if they were going to have him lose, I felt SummerSlam would have been win, especially since it was Fatal 4. But since he retained, he has no reason to go to UFC now with John Bones Jones suspended for like the 12th time this year. So I think Brock stays on to his contract ends right after WrestleMania, will remain champion until WrestleMania. Who he loses it to, I have no idea. I hope it's Braun. That Braun gets another chance in like 6 months. But I think they end Braun and Lesnar here with Lesnar picking up the win. And we will get a new challenger, possibly maybe Bray, maybe Finn Balor, headed into Survivor Series. But yeah, Brock Lesnar definitely wins this match.
Yes, sir. Definitely be an interesting match for sure. A match I'm very looking forward to on Sunday. Save the best for last. The mega match in the making. The two most, let's say, controversial, company pushed superstars in the past decade. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. A match of this magnitude, I wouldn't compare it to Cena versus Rock. I would compare it to Cena versus Batista back in 2008. They had at SummerSlam 2008. I compare it to that. Very, very popular company push guy in Roman Reigns versus the big top company pushed guy in the past 15 years, John Cena. And I don't know who to go for this match. I really don't. And I don't know if I will go for anybody just because I just wonder how the crowd's going to react. I feel like they're going to lean more towards Cena. In which case, if I had to choose somebody, I guess I'd choose Cena. I just think unless they carry this feud out for another pay-per-view or so and make it a trilogy, I think I'm just going to go with Cena on this one. I just think Cena will win this match.
All right, so you use the word controversy, and that's exactly what my preview / prediction is. It's controversial.
Ring the controversial bell.
I think you know where I'm headed with this, but
where's Eric Bischoff?
Well, yeah, no, he's not involved in this.
Controversy creates cash.
Neither is Jim Cornette. So.
Okay, wow. Okay. How about Russo?
No.
Thank God I'd kill you.
Though Jim Cornette is a free agent now, GFW and him have parted ways, so you know. Or is it Impact now? They change her name every other day. So.
That gives me a headache even thinking about that because there's like 15 different things going on inside that company.
It's Anthem Sports presents Impact /TNA /GFW / who the hell really knows what's going on.
WCW 3.7.
Eventually, NWA will
carry it back, buy it out again, bring it back under the NWA banner like it was for the first 6 years of its existence or 5 years.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Smashing Pumpkins presents. So first off, I think this will be like the first time since Thugonomics John Cena that the entire crowd will actually cheer for him.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't have a favorite just because of how I feel the ending's going to happen. If I had to pick a clean winner, I would say Roman, just because there's no reason to give Cena a victory here. But here comes the controversy. We're going to see a surprise return.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
Of someone, and if this happens, we might. If this happens, we're going to definitely lose a wrestling fan that day.
Dylan Kress, Soulman 8383. If you're listening to this, run.
So
and end it right now.
Just go ahead and turn it off. I really don't want to say this because I hope it doesn't happen, but I feel it will. The dead man arises for the final time. And I think he helps, or he doesn't really help anyone. He causes a DQ, starts a feud with Cena, or he gets revenge on Reigns. One of the two. Who knows where they'll head it? But I think it happens. A lot of people have speculated, hey, this is when it's gonna happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But it's WWE. Their logic never makes sense. And just the fact that, statistically speaking, technically, no official retirement was ever made. Even though everyone's like, yeah, but he left his hat and his jacket in the ring and all that. I mean, that was a cool moment. Doesn't mean anything. Though, again, it really would make everyone who filled Camping World Stadium, not whatever the hell they called it,
the Citrus Bowl.
What 80,000 people who filled up the stadium on WrestleMania and spent 7 hours waiting for this event to end, just to leave really pissed off. I think that would make them even more. I know it would make me mad if he returned. Just because he's like, oh, we just witnessed history. He's done. And if he comes back, I mean, especially at a no-name pay-per-view like No Mercy, like,
I wouldn't say no name. I mean, it's not like we're like at bragging rights or Breaking Point or Fatal 4-Way
or what's it called? Roadblock.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah, Great Balls.
Great Balls.
But yeah. So I think the match officially ends in DQ. It saves both the company-grown WWE products from taking an L, and it creates a feud for later in the future.
So, in that case, are you going to say nobody wins, or will there be a winner via DQ?
No, it would be a draw. Vacant will take another W here.
Wow. Interesting. So there's two things we have not agreed on. Actually, three things. Didn't agree with the Cruiserweight title match. You had Zenzo and I had Neville. You went with Alexa for the women's title match. I went with Emma. And then I'm going with Cena to win this match. And you are saying draw. Interesting choices. Can't wait to see the outcome of that. And we will maybe do a review next week or something like that to see where we stand. See if somebody's going to have a rant and just going to go off.
We might have an episode of Unhinged.
That definitely may happen, and you will see a debut of a guy and probably see the last time you will see this guy. I will promise you people now, if you're listening to this podcast, we will put a poll up on Twitter if we should record live Raw reactions of No Mercy, especially during the Cena Roman match.
Yeah.
We might a certain individual of the group of the Outlaws that doesn't appear much often, but Dylan Kress.
There's a reason he doesn't appear. There's a reason he doesn't. He's more controversial than Cornette.
Which is hard to do. That's hard to do. We may have to record that, and that would be posted up on the Facebook page if it clears the air. If we can put a restriction of PG-13 or something like that on it, or maybe a rated R, we'll definitely have to think about that. So that would be interesting. So a good prediction there for No Mercy. Definitely got some mixing of the bag here, so not everything we agreed on, which is great. It gives a little bit of flavor there to see what may happen, who's going to be right, who's going to be wrong. Last thing we want to talk about here tonight is a certain past huge pay-per-view event for another company is making a comeback and is going to be branded by WWE as a live event. Saturday, November 25th, live at the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. Back to its old stomping grounds of where it first originated, WWE presents Starrcade. It's the first time that this event would be back in its inception since 2000, when WCW last held Starrcade in Washington, D.C. at the now Capital One Arena. This was a NWA/WCW mainstay pay-per-view. This was their WrestleMania. This was their biggest event of the year. Likes of Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, Ric Flair, main eventing these things. Sting and Hogan, Goldberg and Nash, and the list goes on and on of who has main evented these pay-per-views. And WWE is bringing it back as a Thanksgiving classic tradition. It's going to be happening on Thanksgiving weekend. Obviously, Thanksgiving being that Thursday before, which Starrcade actually was. Started out to be a Thanksgiving tradition. It started out in November, and then it got switched to December. I think that's when WCW kind of took over the reins from the NWA. And then kind of Survivor Series was the Thanksgiving thing, and then kind of Starrcade was a Christmas thing. This, to me, being a WCW mark and a huge fan of it, I was bittersweet. I'm like, really? You're going to use Starrcade? You're going to use the biggest thing WCW had and change it? But at the same time, the nostalgic is awesome. Here at the Outlaw Sports Network, we're going to be attending this event live in person at the Greensboro Coliseum, kind of film our, maybe a day, maybe like a vlog of kind of like a road trip what WWE does. And we may do something like that, filming kind of our day in Greensboro for Starrcade and film a little bit of stuff in there. Don't want to get copyrighted blocked like I did for the Facebook Live at WrestleMania. That'd be bad. But I think this might be a network special. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. I think it will be. It's a SmackDown exclusive, but the Hardys will be there, Steamboat will be there, the Rock and Roll Express will be there. Excuse me. Which, if you give Ricky Morton the microphone again, he may talk for the next 3.5 hours, like he did the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, that's why the WrestleMania disc is like 5 discs long.
That Hall of Fame, man, I'm telling you, the whole event was cool. It was great, but it's like when Ricky Morton had that microphone, man. I was thinking, man, I just drink a beer and I get tired after one beer. I'm gonna have to go get an energy drink or something here before I fall asleep.
Saying that like, tell one more story, I'm coming down and beating your ass myself.
I'm gonna put you out of your misery and break your hip there, Ricky. So that'd be pretty cool to see that. I think I'm really excited to see Starrcade and to say that I went to a Starrcade, even though it's not like it was with WCW. That's still gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I didn't really grow up watching WCW. I know, like you, there. I was just reading another opinion article on this of how the author, I don't even remember where I found it at, was like growing up. He would switch back and forth between WCW and WWE, and because of course back then they didn't have DVR to record stuff, so he would flip back and forth between the shows, and so that's not how I grew up. I grew up definitely more heavily favored towards WWE product, and so to me it's not really a nostalgia thing. It's more of, hey, this is a live wrestling show I get to see, which is always cool. The cool thing to me is Dolph Ziggler's promote it, which means his contract doesn't end in October, which really made me happy. But
card subject to change.
You know what? You're funny. He's facing newcomer Booby Rude. Greensboro Coliseum. You might want to edit things, and if it's not Steamboat, it's Steamboat. I had to read that one twice to catch that one, but that brings up another subject. Can arenas stop tweeting things like the card like 3 months in advance? Because
I do agree with that.
And then secondly, I totally forgot where I was going with this. But yeah, it's just gonna be a pretty interesting. Oh yeah, okay. So secondly, there's an open challenge given by Michael PSAs to invite the American. I don't even remember it. Oh, the American Nightmare, Cody from ROH and.
I was gonna say, guys, it's me, Cody. I'm coming.
From ROH and. He's no longer title holder. He's ring holder because that makes sense. But he part of the Bullet Club. He sort of tweeted after they announced it, "Hey, thanks for using an idea Dusty Dusty Daddy created and not booking Goldie." And so they're like, "Hey, are you free that night? Come partner with Goldust." So I don't think he'll do it, but the suspense leading up to it, not knowing if he will or not, will be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool to see for sure. If definitely Cody made an appearance, I think the whole arena would mark out. I better see that arena half to 3/4 full. With the whole nostalgic of Starrcade and the Greensboro Coliseum and the history that's surrounded that way, I just think that there should be some ticket sales going up for that. Whenever you never know, we'll see.
But I would say I expect a sellout just because of the wrestling history North Carolina has. We got a lot of marks down here, guys. Not necessarily in Charlotte. I've never really run into wrestling fans here, but the more urban, redneck, boondock parts of North Carolina.
John told me that there's a lot of wrestling smarks in Landis.
Absolutely. They got their backyard mattress wrestling.
They got the big events going on at the church.
Absolutely, that's the only thing in town. But
the one biggest thing in that town.
But North Carolina is definitely like I would. Okay, so I don't really think those will happen, but I would like to see some local PWX guys might show up. I would like to see that.
A PWX invasion.
Absolutely. Maybe some George South Wrestling School guys. I see George South himself. He still wrestles, so.
Which is crazy. I saw that man when he was 62 years old at a local armory in Mooresville, North Carolina. He was in a tag team match at the main event. I was front row. He bladed himself, and he's got long hair. And apparently when you snap your head back to sell a punch, sweat and blood fly, and I caught blood on my cheek. His blood on my cheek. Probably the most inspirational day of my life. I had George South's blood on my face.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was gross. That was really, really gross.
It's to be interesting. I think it's cool they're bringing back some more, I guess, nostalgic things, more old school type things to attract the fans that have been fans forever. Especially since, like you've said, the rumors of going back to TV 14 might happen. More edgier stuff. That rumors ECW might come back with. Please don't, because the last time WWE tried to do that, they failed.
You saw how well that worked out the first time.
If you give Paul Heyman full control, I will agree.
They just need to put it on the network. Let Paul Heyman do whatever he wants to do with it. Leave it at that. Don't mess with it.
Yeah, Vince does not need anywhere near it. And then another, I don't know if you saw this, but apparently there were like polls going around from WWE asking if...
Yeah, I actually filled one out tonight during the Capitals Canadiens preseason game as I was flipping back and forth between the Braves game. So disappointing. to the Capitals preseason game. I saw that email and I actually filled out that survey. It was interesting.
So were they asking if you wanted ROH and TNA on?
They had asked on there, would you like to see contents from ROH, from TNA/GFW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Shimmer, all these different promotions on there? Would you want to see edgier television like TV14? Would you like to see a reality sitcom comedy based similar to The Office? Would you like to see a reality show based on the Game of Thrones? All sorts of stuff. And then it was they had asked if you had $10 to spend total on these things, how much would you spend on each one of them? So you could put $10 on one and nothing on the others, or you could split it up however you wanted to. I mainly went with one on every single one of them, and then the ones I really liked, I went to 2.
Was pyro available? Can we raise the pyro budget?
Damn it, I knew I forgot to put something in there. The pyro budget. If WWE can just start a GoFundMe page for pyro, I'll be okay with that. I pitch into that every single time.
So yeah. If you live in North Carolina, or if you're just going to Starcade, we might want to create some T-shirts to have people recognize us. But look out for us. We're probably gonna be the only losers with a camera inside the stadium.
Well, it depends on when the parking lot's open. If they open pretty early, we'll probably have to park somewhere in the grass and bring the flag back, and just start waving Old Glory.
Take that down off the old logo, old name.
Yeah, unless you want to make a whole new flag.
Yeah, I ain't spending another $100.
That's for the first time. So maybe if you just print out the new logo and just plaster on the flag, tape it on there or something.
Send the old one back. Can you make me a new one for free?
Yeah, right. Please. It's one time courteous. So, but anything else to add for tonight?
I know we didn't cover it much, but I want to say WWE, thank you so much for the Mae Young Classic. Finally, women, I think, are getting recognized in WWE more than... I know we had this whole Revolution thing going on that kind of sizzled out, but to actually showcase women wrestling from around the world made me happy, because I really like women's wrestling. It's one of the... It's entertaining. The only thing I would ask more that they would do is some mixed gender matches, but we'll never see that ever again because it's on TV. So, but I just want to say, while I don't agree with the results of it, I enjoyed watching it. Saw some really great superstars. Ones I knew like Candice LeRae and Tessa and Santana, and then other ones that flew under my radar that I really, really like now, like Dakota Kai, Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm. Even if you watch NXT before the showcase or the Mae Young Classic actually started, and you saw Lacey Evans, she flew under the radar for me. She can really perform. Bianca Belair. We got some really talented women signing with WWE now, so we got the women's division's going to be stacked for a while. If booking can only book right, we'll see some really, really awesome stuff here in the future.
Absolutely. That's good. I agree with you definitely with the whole Mae Young Classic. It was really cool, really good, exciting to see that. Saw some awesomely talented women, and I do think that the women have finally arrived. And we can no longer compare women's to men. It's now they're all one. And, it'd be great to see them. They've already main evented the pay-per-view. They've main evented Raw and SmackDown. I would like to see a main event of Big Four. I don't know if it'll happen at WrestleMania. I don't think it'll ever happen at Royal Rumble.
Well, what if the rumors are correct and a women's Royal Rumble happens? Can that main event? Or do you think they make the men main focus of?
I don't think it would main event only because of the fact of, and it's not so much that it's sexist. It's just that the winner of the male Royal Rumble faces the top belt in the company. and that alone would make it, the significance of it, I guess, would make it like the main event, even though it would be legendary and very historic if the women went on last, which, you know, that's their main goal and main prize is either one of those two women's belts. So it could happen. I'm not saying that it never should and it never will. I think it could, for the nostalgic effect of this is the first time it's ever happened. This is, you know, they're getting the same opportunities that men are, that they're going to be going for one of those two titles, and you can switch one girl from one brand to the other, something that you haven't seen really happen. You know, you've seen that with males where they've gone to one brand to face for the title or something like that. It's almost like what's old is new again, but it's so brand new because it's the women's brand. So anything to infiltrate the women's brand and to extend it to new heights, I'm all for it. So I think that would be pretty cool to see. If it were to happen, that would be really exciting to see.
Absolutely. I mean, the only other thing I would want for the women's division is, can we get some tag teams going on here? Some tag team belts for the women. We got some, like, I think that would solve the problem of not using every, like, because there's come a point where, hey, we haven't used everybody. How do we do this? If we bring in women's tag team, I mean, we already got some NXT ones with the iconic duo of Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. So they're really the only like tag team out there. But like you can pair like Bayley and Sasha together and find some other matches with the newly signed people. But yeah, I would like to see that happen. And then another thing, just real quick. I don't know if you caught up with NXT, because I definitely don't watch it at all. But okay, so there's a really, really long tenured, like, from beginning of NXT, his Angelo Dawkins, he's gone to like 12 different gimmicks. Nothing's worked. Like 12 different tag teams. And they finally found one that worked. The team Street Profits. They finally found one that works. So I'm glad he's finally found something that clicked. Maybe he'll turn into another Baron Corbin or Ty Dillinger. You know, do your time in NXT and become over with the crowd, and we'll see what happens. So.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of NXT, that you can, if something fails, you just go back to the drawing board, and that layout is what makes it like that. Where if you fail, you're not doomed. It's, let's just dust ourselves off. Let's move forward. Let's come up with something else.
Yeah, without NXT, we wouldn't have Tyler Breeze. So you know,
Tyler Breeze, Ty Dillinger, a couple of these other guys that had failed gimmicks and just went back to the drawing board, reinvented themselves, and here they are now. So definitely, congrats to him on that. Hopefully that'll work out for him, and whatever he deserves, success-wise, he earned it for the hard work he's put into it for sure. Before we close out the show, I kind of want to do a couple things. First, like maybe a happy birthday on this date, if there is one, and maybe a on this date in wrestling history. For the birthday, today is the birthday of AA Arn Anderson, the Enforcer. So happy birthday, Arn, mainstay of the Four Horsemen. And on this day in wrestling history, probably the saddest moment of my life happened, where Sting had wrestled his last match against Seth Rollins at Night of Champions 2015. That was a bittersweet night for me.
Bret Hart, if you're listening, please turn it off now.
Yes, yeah, yes, please do, Bret. It sucks that 2 years later, I didn't get to see Sting in a WWE ring wrestle. I mean, in person, and they get to see it happen on television. He wrestled a couple matches, so that you have to be thankful for as a Sting fan for so many years, like myself. Never thought it would happen, and it did. And for him to even just appear in a WWE arena in a ring was historic and impressive in itself. So, but on this day 2 years ago, Night of Champions 2015. Seth Rollins did defeat Sting in the main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Sting's last match in WWE. And on that note, went from sorrow and sadness to upbeat and cool to back to sorrow and sadness. It's a roller coaster ride with this, people, I'm telling you. Catch No Mercy this Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, from Los Angeles at the Staples Center, live on the WWE Network. Follow us on Facebook at Outlaws Sports Network, on Twitter at Outlaw Sports Net, YouTube Outlaws Sports Network. Like, share, subscribe, do everything you possibly can to grow our page, to share the news so that people can love us, hate us, whatever works. Like I said, guys, be on for that poll if we may be able to record our Raw reactions for No Mercy. That'd be cool to do. And maybe we'll do a review next week, or maybe a review of Raw and SmackDown as well. We'll see about that. Never know. If you guys have any questions, definitely give us anything you want to. DM us on Twitter or Facebook. Comment on any post that you guys see or anything like that. And then obviously like the heck out of this video and this audio podcast. Share it with your friends. Give us feedback on how you think we did. It's vital. It's very important to us. You can follow me on Twitter personally at the Phenomenal K-Dog. You can follow Mr. Randall Beatley at
Randall Beatley. I mean, it's really simple, but
They
don't allow Phenomenal Show Off. It's too long, so
that's just how it works.
But he's just too damn good, so
Oh boy. Had to go there, didn't you? All right. Well, guys, I do appreciate you guys taking the time out to listening to this podcast. Hopefully we will be kind of picking the ball here again instead of stopping and starting. Appreciate everybody's feedback and support for the past few weeks that's been going on. I do appreciate you guys' support for not only this show, but every show that the Outlaws do, as well as our Google Hangout sessions, for all of our feedback and for all of our posts that we do on Facebook and social media. I am the Phenomenal K-Dog, Cody. Got Randall Beatley over there. And all God's people said, go Tigers. That's right.
I thought we were about to burst into some Bobby Roode. Glorious.
Close enough. The glorious Tigers. Clemson, baby. Better watch out for them, baby. We coming, and we too deep.
Absolutely.
That's how you do it. We'll catch you guys next time. Appreciate you guys listening to MarkOutMania. And peace out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, morning, afternoon, weekend, whatever you happen to be doing while listening to this on. Enjoy to the fullest. We'll see you guys next week.